His Excellency, welcome to Mexico, and thank you very much for being with us today. My name is Mariana Campero, and I am the Executive Director of the Mexican Council on Foreign Relations, Comexi. Comexi is a non-profit independent organization dedicated to the analysis, the study, and debate of the major global trends and their impact in Mexico. The first official visit by a Mexico representative to Turkey occurred in 1992, when then Mexico's Foreign Minister Fernando Solana traveled to Turkey and, together with his counterpart, signed a cultural exchange agreement. That set the groundwork for future cooperation between our two countries. Today, as regional powers, we cooperate in various international fora on issues that range from international crime to drug trafficking, to dual taxation, to refugee assistance. And we have recently inaugurated a direct flight from Istanbul to Mexico City. As some of you in this room know, Fernando Solana was also the president of Comexi, and as such, it is a great honor for me to welcome today His Excellency Mevlüt Çavuşoğlu, Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Turkey. His Excellency, welcome. His Excellency received his bachelor's degree in international relations from Ankara University and completed his master's degree in economics at Long Island University in New York. He also conducted academic research in international relations at Bill Kent University and at the London School of Economics at PhD level. Mr. Çavuşoğlu is a founding member of Justice and Development Party. He was elected as member of parliament from Antalya, for 3 consecutive terms. Between 2003 and 2014, at the Parliamentary Assembly of the Council of Europe, he served as Vice President and Chairman of the Turkish delegation, in addition to chairing numerous other committees. He was elected as the President of the Parliamentary Assembly of the Council of Europe during 2010-2012, and is the first Turkish parliamentarian to hold this office. He was granted the title of Honorary President of the Parliamentary Assembly in 2014. Moreover, he has served as the chairman of the Turkish delegation to the European Security and Defense Assembly between 2007 and 2010. His Excellency Çavuşoğlu served as the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the governments of the Republic of Turkey since 2014 and was appointed as the first Minister of Foreign Affairs of the presidential system of government on July 9, 2010. As such, I will now explain a little bit about the agenda for this morning, and His Excellency will make a presentation for about 25 minutes, followed by a Q&A session with our moderator, Dr. Gabriel Farfán, and the program will conclude at approximately 10 o'clock in the morning. Please let me emphasize that the Q&A session will be held under Chatham House rules. So at that moment, I will ask all of you to turn off your cameras and recording devices. And before I start, I would like to thank Honorable Timur Soleimes, the Ambassador of the Republic of Turkey in Mexico, for making all of this possible. Thank you very much, Ambassador. Also, I would like to express my welcome to all of the members of the diplomatic community for being with us today, and to Luis Rubio, President of Comexi. All of our members of Comexi, I thank you for your incredible support. Now, please join me in welcoming His Excellency Çavuşoğlu, and I will pass the microphone to him. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Very good morning. Ladies and gentlemen, excellencies, it is an honor and utmost pleasure for me to visit Mexico once again. Turkey and Mexico are key to stability and prosperity in our regions and the world. Our foreign policies are based on the same fundamental values and principles, including democracy, rule of law, human rights, sovereign equality of states, and non-intervention. We are both G20 members. We are also part of the OECD and MICTA. And we look forward to working with our Mexican counterparts during Mexico's presidency of MICTA. We both benefit and suffer from our strategic locations. What we think and what we do matter for our neighborhood and beyond. So it is important that we consult each other closely on various issues. I therefore welcome the opportunity to address this distinguished audience at the Mexican Council of Foreign Relations, and let me also thank the organizers and my ambassador and my colleagues to make this event happen. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe when we want to define the world of today, most of us use similar terms. We say that the world is unpredictable. The power is shifting, inequality rising, risks multiplying, multilateralism eroding, terrorism, extremism, xenophobia, Islamophobia rooting, proxy wars spreading, climate change frightening, trade wars increasing, international institutions aging, and international system weakening. Of course, there are many good things that our age provides to humanity. Our living standards, technology advances in the health field, life expectancy have never been more advanced than today. And contrary to the popular perception, at no point in history has the world been more peaceful statistically. However, there is still too much suffering, and there are too many challenges, risks, and threats. Like Mexico, Turkey is thinking and acting at both regional and global levels to address the challenges and opportunities. At the United Nations, Turkey advocates the need for reform. Probably most of you heard our motto, "World is bigger than five." If the UN Security Council cannot reform to be more representative and inclusive, it will not be effective. It will not be politically relevant at all. Mexico plays a crucial role on developing the sustaining peace agenda at the United Nations. Turkey co-chairs large Friends of Mediation groups at the United Nations, Organization of the Security and Cooperation in Europe, as well as the Organization for Islamic Cooperation. Our roles are critical to address many new threats and challenges. And Turkey and Spain are co-chairing the initiative of the Alliance of the Civilizations. Probably we need that initiative and its messages more than ever today. Being proactive lies at the bottom of Turkey's enterprising and humanitarian foreign policy concept. We cannot remain idle in the face of growing threats. No less than 18 of Turkey's embassies are situated in conflict areas. We must all work together to peacefully resolve conflicts and prevent new ones from occurring. Many more of our missions are situated in regions marked by fragility and potential and actual risk, including terrorism. The list of the conflicts that have direct bearing on Turkey is unfortunately long. We need hours if I need to offer Turkey's position on these critical issues that also have global impact. The list includes issues related to Syria, Iran, Iraq, Eastern Mediterranean, Middle East, Caucasus, Black Sea, Russia, Ukraine, and many others which are all in Turkey's neighborhood. Turkey also plays an essential role on thematic issues like terrorism, energy security, or irregular migration. Let me elaborate our position on a few issues that are on our heavy foreign policy agenda. Syrian conflict tops the list. Since 2011, the war in Syria triggered complex security challenges for our region and beyond. It has created the worst humanitarian crisis since the Second World War. More than half of the population became either IDP, internally displaced persons, or refugees. In Turkey alone, there are more than 3.6 million Syrians, making it the largest refugee hosting nation in the world. We share a 911 kilometers long border with Syria. The terrorist groups and foreign terrorist fighters who found a breeding ground on Syrian soil directly threatens Turkey's national security. Based on our humanitarian foreign policy, we have been at the forefront of efforts to address the challenges stemming from Syria. We filter many of those challenges before they reach the rest of Europe and the world. Therefore, the effects of this major humanitarian and security disaster were felt relatively less, particularly in Europe. Syria's unity, territorial integrity, and the will of the Syrian people are essential. Turkey-led stabilization efforts in these areas have helped security and stability. Nearly 330,000 Syrian refugees were able to return to their homes in two regions that we cleared from terrorist elements. On the diplomatic front, we have been working towards a lasting political solution. Trilateral talks among Turkey, Russia, and Iran in Astana have helped keep the United Nations Geneva process alive. Dear guests, ladies and gentlemen, there are other issues that international community fail to display a united and principled stance. This is a fundamental reason of our failure in collective fight against terrorism. Terrorism is the enemy of the humanity everywhere. It is also a threat that knows no religion, no ethnicity. Terror attacks in Christchurch, New Zealand, and Sri Lanka took place within weeks of each other. Turkey has always underlined that we can defeat terrorism only by international cooperation and with a sincere and comprehensive approach. Terrorism committed by whomever and for whatever reason is still a crime against humanity. Therefore, there can be no distinction between good versus bad terrorism. Daesh, PKK, YPG, FETÖ, and all others present serious risk for peace and stability in our region and everywhere. Turkey takes the fight to the terrorists. Turkey has been the only country in the counter-Daesh coalition which put its troops in harm's way through direct confrontation with Daesh terrorists. And we have been eliminated more than 4,000 Daesh terrorists in Syria and Iraq. And we have captured more than 8,000 foreign terrorist fighters on the way to Syria, and we deported them to the source countries. And thanks to Operation Euphrates Shield and Olive Branch, we liberated an area of 4,000 square kilometers from Daesh and YPG terrorists. And it was to those territories that we liberated from terrorists that hundreds of thousands of refugees are returning. Ladies and gentlemen, humanitarian diplomacy is an indispensable aspect of Turkish foreign policy. Turkey is the most generous donor in terms of the ratio of official humanitarian assistance to national income. Turkey is at the same time the largest host country with 4.2 million people taking refuge. Almost 500 refugees from Iraq, and the rest are from Afghanistan, Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, and other countries around, including the African one. Our humanitarian relief and development assistance programs take us not only to our immediate region, but rather to every corner of the world that needs help. We will continue to help people in need with the belief that it is a global humanitarian responsibility. Another strong priority of our foreign policy is developing ties with all regions in the world. Turkish diplomatic outreach has grown immensely, currently totaling 242 missions. That is the 5th largest diplomatic network in the world. With our outreach and partnership policies in Latin America and the Caribbean, Africa and Southeast Asia, our aim is to make new friendships and find new ways of cooperation on the basis of mutual interest. Let me briefly elaborate on our relations with Latin America. Our friendship with the region dates back to the second half of the 19th century. Our engagement has intensified in the last 2 decades. Turkey obtained observer member status in the Organization of American States in 1998, in the Association of Caribbean States in 2000, in the Pacific Alliance in 2013, and in the Central American Integration System, SICA, in 2014, and we joined the UN Economic Commission for Latin America and Caribbean, ECLAC, as a member in 2017, and today I am flying to Guatemala to join SICA Turkey meeting tomorrow. And we have multiplied our diplomatic missions in the region since 2009. Today we have 16 embassies and 1 consulate general in Sao Paulo. In total in the region we have 17 missions. The number was only 6 when my government came to power a decade ago. In the last 4 years, President Erdogan paid visits to Mexico, as well as Paraguay, Venezuela, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Chile, Cuba, and Argentina. And reciprocal visits have had positive impacts on our political and economic relations. Our trade volume with the region was less than $1 billion before my government took the office. It has reached $11 billion in 2018, and economic relations have even greater potential. Our national flagship carrier, Turkish Airlines, flies to 6 destinations and will further expand its flight network in Latin America, including Mexico, in August. Turkish Airlines has started its cargo flights in October last year. And the Turkish Cooperation and Coordination Agency, TICA, has carried out a number of development projects in Latin America to support sustainable development. And it has offices in Mexico City and Bogota. Although Turkey is located at far geography, it contributes to peace efforts in the region. We support the peace process between the Colombian government and Revolutionary Armed Forces Colombia financially, and the settlement of the border issues between Belize and Guatemala through OAS. And we have been actually assigning a career diplomat to that organization to support those efforts. Finally, allow me to share Turkey's position on Venezuelan crisis, ladies and gentlemen. We share the same principled approach based on respect to sovereignty and non-intervention in internal affairs. We are against foreign intervention, resorting to undemocratic means, including coup attempts, and imposing unilateral sanctions to replace legitimate governments. Legitimacy is a must. We are concerned by the attempts to undermine the constitutional order and the sovereignty of Venezuela. These attempts not only threaten the stability, peace, and security of Venezuela, but also create a dangerous example and put whole region in danger. Disaster will not remain limited to Venezuela. It will have extremely grave consequences for the whole region. Even today, the migration is a heavy burden for countries like Colombia and Ecuador and other neighboring countries. We can work with Mexico and other regional players which have good and balanced relations with all the parties involved to solve the crisis through dialogue and peaceful means. Dear guests, ladies and gentlemen, before I conclude, let me say a few words about bilateral relations with Mexico, which is for us a key strategic partner. We have made great progress in strengthening our relations over the past 6 years. We want to maintain this momentum with President López Obrador's government and explore ways of further deepening our relations, especially in the areas of trade, tourism, and investment. We are sure there is a huge room for growth, and this is what we are going to discuss during my meetings this morning and this afternoon. The launching of direct flights will give a boost to our efforts. In order to unlock economic potential, we also hope to return to the negotiations toward a bilateral free trade agreement which will help both Turkey and Mexico to diversify their trade portfolios. I believe our bilateral cooperation has the potential to make significant impact on the range of issues that face the world and contribute to security and prosperity of our two nations in the process. And my visit today aims at creating this synergy. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for coming. And once again, I would like to thank Mexican Council on Foreign Relations for the kind invitation and for organizing this event. Thank you.
Thank you very much, His Excellency. And now we will start the Q&A session moderated by Dr. Gabriel Farfán. I just remind you that from now on, we are under Chatham House rules. So please turn off your cameras and recording devices. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Excellency.